It brings me so much joy to be back with a special edition of Cuentos Y Comics. It would not be right for me to be back without my good friend, special guest Javier Hernandez. It's been a long time. I'm your host, Bobby Hernandez, creator of the up and coming comics, The Millennials, and now co director of the Latino Comics Expo. It's been a while, but I'm glad to be back with our special guest. Javier, how are you doing?
Yeah, I've been waiting here 2 years to come back, and I've been sitting here for 2 years,
Oh,
and I shave every day though, so we're good. No, good, good to be back, Bobby. Congratulations, coming back and on your new co-directorship of Latino Comics Expo. That's a big change from last time, I think.
man, a lot of things are different. A lot of things are different. The career is different. The setting in the background is a little different. I think the audience got a sneak peek during the special announcement earlier this year, back in April, when I was with Ricardo announcing some of the lineup for this year's uh, Latino Comics Expo, which was the long-awaited 10th anniversary. But Javier, you're here to talk about your new Kickstarter for your new book, El Muerto, Casa del Diablo. Tell us a little bit about it, and yeah. And tell me how you've been too. It's been a while.
Yeah, and your hair got much longer too. You forgot to mention that.
I grew up, good sir. I'm growing up.
Hey, growing up, growing up and growing out.
Oh
Um,
man,
no, it's all good. Everything's good. Yeah, we're getting ready for the holidays, so end of the year, and there's no breaks here in comics for that. Just still doing stuff. But yeah, the new I'm doing a crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign for my new graphic novel, Muerto Casa del Diablo. It's the second graphic novel in the series. I did a preview comic. I did a Kickstarter like 2 years ago for this book, which was the first 26 pages of the story. Um, so now I finished the majority of it. I still need 15 more pages to pencil, but pencil and ink and letter. But yeah, I want to I'm doing the I'm crowdfunding up till actually ends on, just coincidentally, it ends on Christmas Eve.
oh wow.
It's 30 days, so Christmas Eve is the final day. I don't expect too much traffic that day, but um, and then come the new year, I'll be finishing the book, prepping it up for printing and such, and then it's targeted to be shipping out in April. It should go out sooner, but I put April just to be safe as far as letting people know when it's ready to go.
Tell us about some of the prizes or some of the like stretch goals, things that people can look forward to in backing this Kickstarter.
Yeah, so the way Kickstarter works, there's different reward levels. So there's like the basic one where the people can get either a PDF of the comic if they don't want to have a. Some people don't want to have printed books, on their shelf space, whatever. Um, so there's a PDF version of it, and then there's another version where you can get the actual graphic novel, the printed book, and then there's I'm doing a new printing of the first graphic novel, Days of the Dead. So it'll have a different cover. It'll kind of match the new cover for the Casa del Diablo, and it'll be branded with the 25th anniversary logo. This is the 20th. Um, so I haven't updated this one in 4 years, but the new one will have the 25th anniversary logo because next year is El Muerto's 25th anniversary. 25 years since I started the first little black and white photocopied comic in February of 1998. So it's been a long road. So we'll be able to celebrate next year with a new graphic novel, a new printing of the original book, and I'm also doing a new printing of El Muerto Origins, which is a book I did earlier this year. Actually, I debuted it at the Latino Comics Expo in May. This is a reprint of the first three comics of El Muerto from 2008 to 2000, 1998 to 2008. So this is the original vintage comics where I'm a different type of artist, different type of writer way back then. Um, but I thought I'd put those three original issues in a collection so they're always available so whoever wants them because the books are long out of print. So a lot of stuff coming up actually.
A lot of stuff coming up. You hinted at the 25th anniversary of El Muerto. 25 years. 25 years. It's been a long time coming, but I mean, for those who may not know, right? So for those who may not know, you started back in 1998. You know, it was made into a feature film starring Wilmer Valderrama. And there's been fan films. There's been different people that have been inspired, that have done fan art. Tell us a little bit about that 25 years of El Muerto, and how this Casa del Diablo Kickstarter is leading up, right, to all that good stuff.
Well, you were probably in I don't know, first grade or something when I did the first book in '98. And scary. Some of the people listening might not even been born, but yeah, it's a nice marker. I mean, you know, when I hit the 10-year mark, it's like, okay, 10 years is a good stretch. I mean, that's a as far as your own personal goal, you know, like your own personal thing. That's a good stretch. Not everybody sticks around in the self-publishing arena 10 years. I know it's tough, it's hard, whatever, or they move on. Maybe they might get a working for a mainstream comic publisher or something. So yeah, that's it tells me like, okay, well, I'm definitely committed to this. It's like I love doing it the way I do it, which is 100% independent. Um, you know, on my own, writing, drawing. You know, you're your own editor basically. You're your own focus group and all that stuff. So um, it's just part of the way I like doing it. I mean, it's, other than just the stories. I mean, if we can talk about working on the actual stories and stuff, but just doing it yourself. It's the only way. Well, it's not the only way I do it. I mean, if I ever get a deal for a publisher to pick up the book, you know, publish them for me, as I keep the rights, that's, you know, that could happen. But um, I like the one-on-one connection, the direct connection with audiences. You know, thanks to the internet, that was something that wasn't available, obviously, pre-internet. Not on this level where you can instantly, like right now, we're doing video, and anyone in the world can technically, you know, theoretically watch this, and then I can hear back from them and vice versa. So I love that immediate connection with the readers. That's pretty cool. Um, but you know, there's a lot of work involved. Other than writing and drawing the book, it's the whole publishing, marketing, you know, whatever, setting up interviews and all that. That's why it's called self-publishing. You're doing it yourself.
And it's definitely no easy task. The Latino Comics Expo has done a great job of highlighting individuals like your, well, founded by you, but individuals like yourself, self-publishing creators. I remember a long time ago, someone, maybe myself, no, but the question, right? Like how is it, you know, how does one self-publish? And it's such a long-winded question, but no, you've been doing it for 25 years, and it's a huge accomplishment. Again, it's awesome to see uh, the story of Diego de la Muerte continue. You know, so long. He's had like these little side adventures, but here with Kickstarter and the new Casa del Diablo, we get to see, you know, where what's next. What's the next chapter for this amazing legendary character that everyone adores. So good stuff.
Well, thanks. I mean, so the second book, it literally it's kind of like Quantum of Solace. You know, the second Daniel Craig film,
How so?
Casino Royale. What's that?
How so?
Well, Casino Royale ends where he confronts that Mr. White guy, Mr. White, not the white guy, but Mr. White. And then the Quantum of Solace, it literally starts off, we're in the middle of a car chase, and he's got Mr. White in his trunk, and he's trying to get him to headquarters, and he's being chased by, I guess, Mr. White's, you know, people. So this book, the Casa del Diablo, literally takes place, actually it takes place in the car. At the end of Days of the Dead, Diego, you know, there's this circus, this crime circus he was involved in. I thought I heard somebody talk. That's kind of weird. It takes, so the circus has been, you know, exposed and such, and then his the friends he made, they leave, and he's left standing there literally in the middle of this burned down circus, and he takes this Volkswagen from Mr. Killian Cassidy, one of the terrible villains of the book. So in the new book, he's literally driving that Volkswagen from where they were in Mexicali. He's trying to get to Tijuana. So he's driving through this up through, I guess, Tecate, this mountain passageway, kind of like an infamous or famous passageway, La Rumorosa. Hope I said it right, Rumorosa. So that's why I said it kind of reminds me of Quantum of Solace, where it's like it's taking place, a minute after the last book, the last story ended, and he happens to be in a car.
He happens to be in a car, and there he comes across. I think some of us who were able to purchase the preview booklet got a glimpse, right, of where he is. Um, he meets a woman in distress, not in distress, but a woman who's looking for her child,
Oh, I
and
think
then
I think that's called distress. I mean, yeah, he's driving through a mountain passageway and he sees a car overturned down below in the ravine, and there's a woman there on top of the car trying to wave down people with her jacket, and then he stops the car and slides down the hill, and then she collapses, and then he resurrects her, he touches her. That's his power, by the way, folks. He has the power to resurrect the recently dead, and he finds out that her child's been kidnapped, and she's up there in the mountains looking for it because she heard that the person may be up here. So as a mother, of course, she's very desperate to find her child. So that's kind of where it ends off. So they get in the car and then they're driving through the mountain and they come up this side road and they drive up to this big, giant, creepy Spanish hacienda where it shouldn't be. There shouldn't be one up in the hills, up in northern Mexico by the border. And that's where the story ends. Yeah, that's where that first, this preview comic, Bobby.
that's the story.
So that's where that ends. But so now with the graphic novel, you'll get these first 26 pages in here, but you'll get the rest of the book and you get to find out who or what has kidnapped the little baby. Is the baby okay? Do they rescue the baby? What happens in the Casa del Diablo, Spanish hacienda? So this book is much more horror story than the first book. The first one was the origin story, supernatural origin story, and then he gets caught up in this, like I said, this crime circus slash freak show. This one is definitely like I'm going all in. Like, okay, I want to do a horror story, with the haunted house. In this case, a Spanish hacienda, and creepy things inside. So the main villain, I mean, I've talked about it before, and you can see some of it in the book. It's my version of the Llorona. One of those great classic Mexican myths that we all grew up with.
Remind me her name,
La Doña Maclovia la Dolente.
Maclovia.
La Dolente.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Doña Maclovia la Dolente. So yeah, the Llorona myths, I think it's probably known to people, a lot of people. And there was a movie, wasn't there a movie from Blumhouse a couple of years ago? I mean, the basic gist of it is this woman, she murders her children. She drowns them in a river. And then I guess she's so guilt-ridden, she ends up kind of being cursed to search for them all her afterlife, basically. There's variations on it as to why she did it and, her husband or whatever, lover, jilted lover, whatever it was. But basically a mom killing the children and then, lamenting it. So, and then she kidnaps other children. Remember hearing that story as a kid? Parents would warn you, don't go outside. Like, Llorona's out there. So.
Oh yeah, no, many in the Latino culture, and even now, the broad American culture are aware of La Llorona or have heard some versions.
Oh yeah,
of the story. But yeah, here we have.
I mean, hey, look, there's even a Funko Pop of La Llorona.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
really
yeah, I like the veil. It's like this clear plastic.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's excellent.
Anyway,
which before I'll transition into you've built quite a Funko Pop collection these last few years. But two more questions about the book. Diego de la Muerte, El Muerto, he has a robust supporting cast. So what can the audience expect, or will they be able to expect characters like Zach and Maria, or the gods that are in the background, maneuvering things like Micatecutli and Tezcatepotla? What can you hint about some of these characters? that are so adored?
Well, what we saw in the preview book, it opens up with we check in on his best friend Zach. So anyway, so in the story, Diego disappears for a year because he gets killed in a car accident. Supposedly, he disappears in a car accident on Day of the Dead, his 21st birthday, and his friends and family are terrified, worried about him. And Zach, like a lot, sometimes like people do, doesn't deal with the loss too good. So, you know, Zach begins drinking very heavily, kind of screwing up his life in the process. Um, like people, in real life, we all cope different ways and not always the best way. Um, so there's that drama set up, like, what's going to happen is Diego going to come get back to his friends in time before Zach destroys himself or whatever. And then there's an ex-girlfriend, Maria Hermosa. She's the ex-girlfriend when the story starts, but, obviously people ask me, are they going to get back together? It's like, well, why would I put her back in the story just as the ex-girlfriend? So we'll see. And he's got a couple other friends. Like growing up as a kid, I always liked the Spider-Man supporting cast, or like the old Speed Racer cartoon. I like that supporting cast. I've always liked shows and characters where, even if it's a comic book superhero thing, fantasy, like the secret identity, whatever, who they really are, they have like a real life with friends, family, different dynamics, personalities, and stuff. But in fact, you asked me one time. I told you I kind of like it's like 11 Rockets, where it's about relationships and such. And you go, why don't you just do something like that? But I told you, like, yeah, but I like that. But then I like the fact that the character is a superhero character, and then you have all these fantastic other characters in his life, bad guys and allies and such. So a lot of I just looking at the original Spider-Man comic, that was pretty much like that. This fantastic superhero with these outlandish supervillains, but there's all this heavy novella drama back home with the aunt and the friends and the boss. So it's the type of stories I like. And I want to invest my life in, which I've done, about 25 years.
Yeah, no, you have. I recall you putting these little Javier hints in your stories. But let's talk about that Funko Pop collection. How you doing? I saw that you got some Godfather, some Michael
Oh man.
Corleone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to start pulling them all out, but I mean, I would tell people, go to my Instagram page. Maybe Bobby can put a link. And yeah, lately I've been posting some pictures of that. But yeah, their character, I just love the character designs. I mean, when they first came out, I'll be honest. I hope people know what these are. When they first came out, here's one. This the Golden Girl from Goldfinger. When they first came out, I thought they were dumb. I go, this big giant head, little body. That's terrible. They don't look anything like the characters from the cartoons or the comics. And then, slowly you got one. I got a Roddy Piper. My friend got me a Roddy Piper one. And
Okay.
then the wrestler Roddy Piper. And I had that for a couple of years. And then I got some other one here and there. And then I started buying these. They started putting out these Spider-Man villain Funko Pops based on the original drawing designs of Steve Ditko, the original artist.
Okay.
And I go, well, I've always liked the designs. And actually, the design translates really good to a pop because it's just a really colorful, fanciful design. So whether it's the big head and a little body or a regular proportion, human body. So I just got those like 6 or 7 Ditko villains, and I had to get Spider-Man. And then I started thinking about, well, Jack Kirby's designs look really good. The original Marvel, the main artist at Marvel. So I got the Fantastic Four and then the Fantastic Four villains because I love the way, like I said, Doctor Doom looks very iconic, and Mole Man and whatever. And then it started spilling over. And well, it looks like they've done a lot of the original Marvel characters, in their 60s costumes, Doctor Strange and Avengers and Thor and, the original Daredevil. So, and then boom, boom, boom. And then I started looking at DC, like, yeah, Batman looks cool. And anyway, I don't want to go on. Well, we can do a pop show one day, but yeah, it's just something. I've always liked toys, always collected action figures, but something about the Funko Pop, the Funko Pop, because they're so small and they're kind of cutesy looking. There's something very pleasant about them, as opposed to just buying the regular action figures where they're perfectly proportioned and well muscled and stuff and very detailed. I mean, those are fine too. I've collected those, but the Funko Pop, they're like, I don't know, it's like candy or something. Like they're these little sweet little things are fun to collect and such. So
Yeah, I think like some of the best uh, pardon me, some of the best designed characters, the way they're able to like the way Funko Pop is able to simplify their look and still resemble, you know, the artwork, the
Right.
character. Uh,
It's a
and they're
mark of a great design, like the original design, like the Power Rangers. I mean, I've seen some of those. Those look pretty cool. I mean, so many. You know.
man, you're reminding me right now. So for those, yeah. So not to get too much far off topic, but yeah, the Green Ranger JDF. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. That was pretty brutal. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
may
I
he
know a lot of you folks grew up with that. Yeah, I saw a lot of comments about it.
Yeah, from the '90s. Yeah. So may he rest in peace. May he rest in peace. Um, Kickstarter. What can you like? What is the state of Kickstarter now? I mean, I remember you did a Kickstarter during the pandemic, right? And it's interesting how the world has changed. It's shifted. But how do you see the state of Kickstarter at the moment? Having an active Kickstart campaign yourself at the moment.
Um, I mean, it's only my second one I've done. I don't know how much I could speak on the difference on it. I mean, people are still using it, and it's a great way to get new readers. I know for me, it's a great way to get new readers because you know, when you do the Kickstarter, and then the person has to have an account themselves if they want to back your project. So I'm, you know, every day or so I get another backer or two, and then I see their name, right, and a lot of names I recognize. You know, oh, I know that person's bought all my books, or I know them, or they're local, or whatever. And then there's a lot of names I don't know, so that immediately that just tells you you're reaching new readers. You reach because you don't recognize the name even from your social network. So I looked at my stats. I've supported 123 Kickstarters. I'm looking at there. It says right there that
That's
I've backed over the 10 years because I go on there and I find comics that I've never heard about or that don't get released in the comic shops or through distribution. So 123 is a lot. I'm just thinking, like, man, it's a lot of books. I wish I had them all in the stack, but they're spread out everywhere. Um, so it's like a convention. If you walk in a convention, you walk through Artist Alley, you're going to see like all these people you never knew, and you're going to see all these books you never knew about. So it's a great way to reach out to your regular reader base, but to new people. So yeah, I don't know how much I can speak to like the state of Kickstarter right now, but anyone's using it. A lot of people are using it, and there's other crowdfunding platforms too. But
Yeah, actually, if I could give a shout out to what is it? Our Stories by like I know there's different ones, but definitely want to highlight that one. I believe it's from Avenida Studios and I believe Fanny Grande and Nelson. They've done a good job of like creating a platform not only for Latinos but just for those that are looking to uh, kickstart, not kickstart, but to fundraise with a little bit of guidance. So definitely a shout out to them. Um, Holidays. What do you got planned for the holidays, good sir?
the just the the regular family stuff, Christmas, Christmas Eve actually is a that's what we do. We go to our usually to my sisters and for Christmas Eve we'll get together, and then uh, Christmas Day everybody kind of does their own thing. The families, each family, but Christmas Eve is our big get together. And my father passed away this past June, so yeah, we just had our like first Thanksgiving without him. And I was telling my sister now it's going to be all the first, right? So it's going to be first Christmas, first New Year's, first Father's Day next year. So yeah, not to bring the conversation down. I just thought that's he was definitely part of Christmas. So thought I'd just mention that in passing.
Yeah, no, and our deepest thoughts with you and your family for your loss earlier this year. Um, but thank
Thank you.
you, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. But for the holidays, though, the holidays we a lot of families do get together and they watch something. What are you watching at the moment?
Right now, the most current thing I've been watching is Wednesday on Netflix, the Adams Family, solo show with Wednesday Adams. Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah. No, I so I binge watched the whole series with my little one. and I am
Oh wow.
yeah, we finished it in 2 days. But so like we attributed to Wednesday becoming the most watched series on Netflix. Like we were a part of that. But
Yeah, that's true.
I am so impressed with I believe her name is Jenna Ortega. She embodies Wednesday amazingly. She revamps the character. I mean, the way she dances, like, oh my god, really, she really sold the character in that episode. Just gave her this distinct style, right? This kind of retro personality, but yet so modern. Um, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've never seen this actress before. But I think she's brilliant because I mean I can just imagine trying to cast this character right to get it right because it's very subtle. But on the one hand she's very like just on the surface like oh she seems very cold and and she's dark and macabre. But there's so many shades to her, and I think because the age she is, she's a teen in this show. She's a teenager, and they're showing her with other teenagers, particularly boys, right? Because she's very you know, I'm not cold or whatever, but she's got this front. And then as the episode's going, I've only got to episode 5, but um, like the one boy that works at the coffee shop, you know, and then the other the little guy, the beekeeper, whatever. There's little subtle shades where there's little cracks in her. At least when I see it, her reaction. So she's never gonna gush over a boy like the other girls, because that's not Wednesday's style. But yeah, she's got a heart, and so I just find her. Yeah, she's an amazing actress for being. I don't know how old she is, but she's gonna have a good career because that to nail that character the way it's written, with those just real subtle emotional ticks she does and subtleties. I mean, I'm very impressed. So,
Yeah, no,
um,
I watched some of her interviews, and so she talked about like Tim Burton, the way he directed her, right? And at times it felt as though she felt that it was she was starring in a silent film. So the way her like little
perfect.
yeah, her little gestures and everything, it's just like she kind of froze her face and did these
Yeah, she
little
does so much just with her face.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
But it's pretty cool with like the
and
whole
it's a
team.
yeah, like you said, it's a Tim Burton. Well, at least I guess only directed the first 4. I just found out when I watched the fifth
Yeah,
one.
the first few episodes, yes.
So that's kind of interesting. But we got like a 2-hour Tim Burton movie because he did 4 episodes. No, a
Yes,
4-hour Tim
essentially
Burton
so,
movie.
yes. The other thing is that the producers of this series are the same producers from Smallville, who
Yeah,
gave this teen angst version of Superman. They're now doing this with Wednesday, and it works. I cannot wait for the second season. I can't wait to see what happens with Jenna Ortega and her career to just watch it grow. I'm really
right.
excited for her. And, yeah,
And Luis Guzman as Gomez and Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. I mean, they always cast a good pair for that. Whether it's the '90s movies, Raul Julia and Angelica Houston, and of course the beloved '60s TV show, um, John Aston and oh god, I forgot her name, Caroline. Forgot her last name. My bad. But yeah, but when they started casting Raul Julia in the '90s, it was like, oh, they finally get a Latino to play Gomez because that's how John Aston played him as I think I was thinking of him as a more Castellano, Castilian Spanish, but um, this is kind of I don't know. The character seems to slowly be morphing, like more Latino, maybe Mexicano, or Puerto Rican, Luis Guzman. So, but to cast Wednesday, so this is the first time they cast Wednesday as a Latina, and it never occurred to me like, okay, it was really cool when they had a Latino playing Gomez, but well, yeah, him and Morticia have a kid, so the kids are going to be half him. So, and not only is Wednesday Latina the actor, so is the actor playing the brother Pugsley.
Pugsley. Yeah.
I
No,
forgot his
I
name, but yeah, that's so. It's like, oh yeah, well, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it be?
yeah, I think yeah, the casting is the casting of the castings. I think I don't know. I think Louis. I think he's good. I want to see more, and I think that a lot of people like because a lot of people when Latinos think of the Adams Family, and they particularly get drawn to Gomez, right? And so I hope that for season two we get more of that. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we can see Louis. What's his last name?
Guzman.
Louis Guzman shine. We'll see how that works out. Uncle
I
Uncle
mean,
Fest Uncle
I
Fest
mean, the
was
show is about her, so I mean, that's why it was cool in the fifth episode when the one I just saw when Gomez and Morticia come to the school. So okay, we got to see him for the hour.
yeah, and then you get to see
But I
their
mean,
young
I get it. It's about her, so
yeah, and you get to see
more
their
about
younger
her.
version. But where is like how do you see the state of I mean with Wednesday's numbers with it being so big, and I think more people need to talk about it, specifically because the project stars a Latina. Um, are we entering a new era? I mean, you have Wednesday starring Jenna Ortega. You have Andor at Disney Plus, starring Diego Luna. Um, you have Tenoch Huerta starring not the main star, but he's definitely featured very heavily in Wakanda Forever. And even today, the trailer for Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, which is I'm blanking on his name right now, but Anthony, the gentleman from Hamilton. Like we are entering the era of the Latino protagonist, but not just on these like projects that are telling that are focusing on Latino stories, but these are characters that are starring in big blockbuster projects. So, what are your thoughts about on some of this stuff?
Well, I mean, that's that's always going to be good, but I mean, I am always like weary, or I don't know what the word would be. I mean, because look,
Okay,
I'm older than you, so
pessimistic, maybe, you know.
no, I'm not pessimistic about it. I'm just kind of like, we'll see, we'll see,
Okay,
because I'm older than you, so I clearly remember like when La Bamba came out, the Richie Valens movie,
yeah,
Lou Diamond Phillips, and that was an exciting film and everything. And then I remember the articles. I don't know if people know these magazines, but like People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, whatever. There'd be cover stories or articles. Hey, like you just said, the era of the Latino protagonist, or whatever they'd call it. And then, is there going to be more? And then nothing happens. And then, like years later, maybe you get Mi Familia, and then they'd say it about that. Or then Selena, the movie Selena. Hey, Hollywood's gone Latino. Da da da. So obviously, the stuff you mentioned, there's way more of it now. Yeah, movies. There's these big TV shows. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I've heard that over and over before. So I want it to be like, don't just let's not you, but like the media. Don't just say it. Don't just say, oh, let's just see it every day, all the time.
I mean,
Let's not have it like peak. Let's not have it peak with Latinos. It disappears, and then Latinos again in 5 years. Should be there all the time. That's what I think.
yeah, because comparing the two eras, right? So, like the era that you're talking about is like the '90s or late
Well, the
'80s.
'80s or the '90s or the
Yeah,
2000s. I mean, they're
like
different eras.
yeah. But it's like it started at a certain point, it ended at a certain point because then there was a huge gap, and you didn't
Right.
see.
That's my point.
But the evolution, or what I'm noticing now, it's like okay, they told Latino stories featuring Latino characters in film for a small period of time in this trajectory of Hollywood, right? Of Hollywood films. But what we're entering now, given like this fall, this later half of 2022, and now into the next year, again, it's just like you have. There's been a lot of surveys or a lot of like yeah, I guess surveys, but like industry analysis where like Latinos are not being featured as the main characters. And
Right.
now you have a string of projects back to back starring Latinos that are huge successes. So where can we go from here, right? I didn't mention Cobra Kai that stars Sholo Maridueña, right? And he will star in Blue Beetle. So I think I think we have to. It's a topic that we have to continue discussing. That needs to continue to be highlighted, because hopefully that will lead to um characters that are created by Latinos to therefore be featured, starring Latinos, and again, just expanding this representation that we've all been kind of like fighting for. I know I have.
No, I agree. I mean, and like I said, I'm weary about it, but now it's different because now there is so much of it. It wasn't just Namor, but it's Namor, and like I said, Wednesday and Cobra Kai, and I mean, and we've had filmmakers like Robert Rodriguez now for a long time doing this stuff, and Jorge Gutierrez, Guillermo del Toro. I mean, you know what I mean? And then all the Mexican directors hitting it big over here. So no, it's definitely way more. Now it's not just a peak and then it's like multiple, but it's got to stay like that. It's got to keep like a heartbeat. It's got to keep going and not stop now. And
Yeah,
I think we're definitely there. I thought Coco was going to be the big. When I saw Coco in the movie and made $1 billion and won Academy Awards, and I go, okay, now you have a commercial hit and a critical hit, and it's a Latino Mexican character and such and storyline. So I thought that was going to be the floodgate, but maybe that's what all these things are now because it takes a couple of years to develop something. So yeah, no. So when I say I'm not pessimistic. I'm just worried because I've heard it before. But yeah, maybe time is different. I think there's more. I think the audience is definitely there for this type of stuff, and that's what Hollywood sees. Like, okay, there's an audience for it. So there's an appetite for it. So and like you mentioned, get the creative people behind it, and try to get actual Latino voices, not just acting it, but writing it and producing it. So yeah,
right.
I think it's definitely um, cautious optimism um, for film and you know TV and cartoons and such, and of course comics.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people are looking at, right? They're looking to comics for some of these stories now. It's the new American novel. But
Yeah, what they call Love and Rockets, the Great American Comic Book on that recent PBS 40th anniversary special. Like, wow, pretty cool.
yeah, just amazing. Yeah, we had the pleasure of being with them. Yeah, early this year. So shout out to the
Yeah, host Jaime and Beto Hernandez. We've hosted him several shows now.
yeah, yeah. But so we talked about like this kind of era. Anything else? Anything else about like films? Anything else that you're watching? Because social media has been pretty. It's evolving like everything, I guess. Right? There's
Right.
different eras. Uh, are you leaving Twitter, sir? What's your plan? Are you gonna stay on?
Yeah. I was gonna post something a week or two ago. I was gonna post something sarcastically like, "Well, I have no grand speech as to why I'm leaving this platform." Blah blah blah. So I guess I'll stick around. But basically, I mean, yeah, I guess with Twitter, Elon Musk has bought it, and whatever bendahadas he's doing with it. I mean, because I've seen people leave Facebook. I've seen them make big announcements because of whatever on Facebook, Zuckerberg and privacy. And I get it. I don't want all my stuff thrown out there either privately. But I don't know. People just love to make grandiose, gigantic, philosophical, political statements. When there's times to do it where it really applies. Like go vote, make sure this law doesn't pass, or make sure it passes. But to storm out of I mean, if Twitter one day was taken over literally by an actual Nazi or somebody, and they changed the law, obviously I would leave. You know what I mean? Um, but anyone has to make up their own decision. But there's a fine line. Like I remember for years, people would not want to go to Walmart. Oh, they're conservative. It's like, well, yeah, I'm not conservative, and you know what? I go to Walmart maybe as much as Target, if not more, because sometimes it's just closer or quicker. I don't, but what a CEO does with his money, I mean, I get it. But you patronizing a place, whether it's Chick-fil-A or Walmart or Twitter, like you patronizing it, I guess you're endorsing them, so your money goes into their pocket eventually. But I'm like, you know what? I'm sure a lot of the people at this department store or this restaurant, they're not the same political affiliation as the guy who's your enemy who runs it. So, there's people that are earning a living at these places, um, whether it's a store or a restaurant or whatever, right? And so, I don't know. I drive the freeways here in LA, and I'm sure a bunch of scummy people drive the freeway, you know, sure somebody killed somebody, got on the freeway to escape. So I'm not gonna drive on that freeway because the killer used it. So like I said, everyone's got their own line what they're gonna do, right? But some people just love thumping their chest and getting on the soapbox and making a big statement like, "Oh, I'm leaving because this person is despicable." And, okay, bye. I mean, but
Yeah, nah,
so
I'm just what I'm concerned about. It's like, I mean, I guess we've been through MySpace, we've been through Facebook, we've been through
right.
Twitter. Like it's like it just like, and then people are leave like then the people hopped over to Instagram. Now it's TikTok, and it just like it continue. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, you leave a place and then now you gotta leave this place again because now the person who runs this one is doing this, and
Yeah, but it just like what's next? What's next? And it's like Twitter for a while was like the city square, where people can express their thoughts, and kind of like come together, journalists, elected officials. So it's like I wonder how, like, where people are scattering to, kind of
right.
now.
Scattering is a good word. I mean,
Yes, because it's just like there other platforms are rising. I've heard of, I believe, Mastodon and some other stuff, but it's going to be interesting, and we'll see
but
where.
but I don't know if it keeps this way, it's almost gonna be like, okay, well, what's the liberal social network, and then what's the conservatives? You know what I mean? It's gonna where before with Twitter, I never really looked at it as a political thing one way or the other. I mean,
But it
I know they
has.
would censor. I know they would censor people, but those, they're pretty horrible people. So I don't care if they're left or right. Shut them up.
Yeah, but no,
But
it's been like that for a while, and unfortunately, that's the world we live in. We live in a very politicized world. I would know, but
that's right. Yeah. Do you tell people you've been working on in your professional life?
I'll leave that for another conversation. But I think my absence, right? My absence on social media, my absence here with Cuentos Y Comics. For those who know me, and those who know me dearly, my whole life I've been fighting for proper representation for our community. Now I've done that, advocating here with the Latino Comics Expo, with Cuentos Y Comics, highlighting and featuring Latino comic creators, and so forth. And so here in my hometown, I've been doing that. I've been doing that. So that's where I'll leave it. But I have been, yeah, I've been active in my community. I've been civically engaged, and beautiful things are happening. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and to be, spearheading some of these, movements, or let's say campaigns. But yeah,
Spoiler.
yeah, no, but thank you so much, everyone, for kind of tuning in, and keeping tabs on this guy here, and allowing him to catch up with a good old chum, a good old friend, a mentor. But yeah, yeah, life is
Well,
good, sir.
I'm glad you're back on the show. I mean, hopefully we'll see more of these Cuentos y Comics. I know they're very popular back when you started, and people are really excited about it. So hopefully you can
It,
balance out your responsibilities with your family life, your work, and this.
yeah, I mean, it's been the 2 year, that's like the 2 year mark of that first interview, where I interviewed you the day after Christmas, is coming up. So
Wow,
December 26th, it'll be 2 years.
that's
So
crazy.
it's been almost a year and a half. I think my last episode was with, prior to like the announcement with Ricardo earlier this year. Before that, it had been, I think, May of 2021, with Terry Blas. I ended it with the 14th episode. Here we're hopefully, I'm calling it the special edition, but hey, you never know. This may be the first episode of season 2. So I think that could work. We still got a few weeks left in the year to knock out some more episodes. Anybody who wants to come on, I'm challenging you. No, I'm kidding. I'm calling you out. Reach out to Bobby Hernandez, and we'll get you guys on Cuentos Y Comics, if time allows. But Javier, thank you so much for joining me today. We're gonna play that outro, that song that just, it makes me dance. It brings back so many memories. But
You gonna
life
do the
is
Wednesday? You gonna do the Wednesday dance or what?
oh yeah, the oh my gosh, it was so cool. Yeah,
Yeah, your wife and your daughter. You guys dressed up as Adam's family characters on Halloween, I
I
remember.
was, I was, I was
Yeah.
Mr. I was Gomez Adams. My beautiful wife was Morticia. My daughter was Wednesday, and she took the character very seriously. And it's funny because like we had to like kind of tell her like, hey, not so serious, like you gotta enjoy yourself. Even like she was so into character, it seemed as though she wasn't enjoying the holiday, but she was. She was just,
Well, yes, he was doing Wednesday.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So
So
your daughter, what did she see? She saw the movies from the '90s with Christina Ricci. Is that where she got her? What does she pattern her Wednesday on?
the animated films, the Sony animated films that came out recently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, that's right. I forgot there was two of them. You're right. That's right. Okay, yeah, she's
yeah,
pretty
so
morose. The Wednesday in there, she's pretty. Yeah,
yeah. So she saw those. She also saw she's seen the '90s films. They're streaming on some of the platforms, and yeah, she's young, but she's into the macabre, like Edward Scissorhands and like Tim Burton films.
oh, there's some Tim Burton
Already, it's
movies.
like, oh, I gotta watch out. I gotta watch out. But
Yeah, Beetlejuice. Yeah.
yeah, but that's I think I think that they're able to tap into just like this Halloweenish world. But yeah, kids love that. Kids love that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Um, any closing thoughts in regards to reminding everybody to support Javier Hernandez's Kickstarter of El Muerto, starring El Muerto in Casa del Diablo, right? It runs through December 24th.
Yeah,
December
Christmas
24th.
Eve.
Yeah,
So I
Christmas Eve.
think you'll put a link on this. There'll be a link underneath this. I think right on the page.
I'll add some links. I'll add some links. We're gonna add the Kickstarter link. We're gonna add your social media and your website. So I know you have a. Do you happen to have your Christmas book in hand?
This is a holofoil cover, a shiny. The night before Navidad. Um, yeah, it's a special printing with this super deluxe foil cover.
That's awesome. Yeah, so definitely, so people can check out some of your stuff, and then not just El Muerto, but Los Comex projects from the Los Comex brand, the Los Comex Universe, that also celebrates its 25th anniversary
Yeah, yeah,
of
I was
this.
thinking about that. It's not just El Muerto; it's my brand. So
Yeah,
I was trying to find a list online. My, so Los Comics has outlived a lot of other publishers. Not everybody goes 25 years. So
yeah, like
I'm gonna look for
imprints.
that. I'm gonna look for that list and share it online just to give a little victory lap.
Do it. But
Those are big companies too. So
yeah, I mean, one that comes to mind is like Valiant, like how like they came and went.
yeah,
And
that's not 25 years. They're
Mirage,
huge. Valiant, Broadway Comics, yeah, Pacific Comics. So
yeah.
anyway, now I'm not here to dance on the graves of my well, they're not my enemies, but my competitors.
Ah, that's funny.
I just do it to highlight so other people who are publishing or want to do it, like you can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to want to do it. That's the thing. So, but that's my parting thought. If somebody wants to create something, please go do it. Whether you want to go sing or dance or write a comic or draw a comic.
Should I say? Should I put this out in the universe? So I recently watched Gabriel Iglesias stadium special or
Dodger
comedy
Stadium, right?
comedy special at Dodger Stadium, and I got emotional. I got emotional when he spoke because he said the exact same thing that you said, and it just like it's beautiful how he was able to he was able to acknowledge. He's like a few years ago, I was watching a comedian at a stadium, Kevin Hart. He was watching Kevin Hart, and now he's able to achieve that himself as a comedian, and
Right.
he was brought to tears, and he brought me to tears. It just when you really want to accomplish something, and you have that feeling inside, and you pursue it, it's one of the most beautiful things. So.
And he's really hit it big because there's a Funko Pop of him.
Funko Pops, yes, yes, yeah.
I think it's called like Fluffy Stadium, yeah. So it's like there's a Funko Pop of Fluffy. So he's made it.
So what I was gonna hint at is like, man, I'd love for him to star in a film featuring portraying a specific someone, you know, in an origin story. But we'll leave it there. I think
No, you can't. That won't happen because everyone says he looks like Jorge Gutierrez. They get mixed up for one another.
that was interesting when he shared that story. But yeah, like for those who were with us at the at this year's Latino Comics Expo, the 10-year anniversary at More Lines in Long Beach, we got a chance to hang out and speak with Jorge for a little bit, and yeah, that was a story.
Filmmaker Jorge Gutierrez from Book of Life, Maya and the Three. Yeah,
Maya and the Three. So yeah, but yeah, that was funny when he brought that up. But yeah, shout out to everybody, to the whole crew. It's been a while. I'm right here.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I'm sure people are gonna be glad to see you, so that's good.
Yeah, and then it'll be today we're actually we're on quite a few. Instead of my just personal page, we're on Cuentos Y Comics. We're on YouTube at the moment, and then we'll share the links on Instagram and Twitter, and then whatever else is popping up nowadays. But
I know, right? Can't keep up with all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And like you said,
No.
it's almost 2 years to the date when you first did it. So
we'll have to do something special. But yeah, stay tuned, everyone.
Have Fluffy on your show. I'll be impressed on the 26th.
Oh man, imagine that. And then I could share the story about how I got emotional watching him get emotional. So
and then he'll start crying.
Sounds
Mexican
good.
men are the biggest Mexican men are the biggest crybabies, man. Believe me.
Hey man, like I think it's good to be passionate. It's good to be passionate.
Of course. It's good to have a heart.
Corazón. But thank you so much. There we go. Cool. Talk to you soon, sir.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
So there you have it. Another edition of Cuentos y Comics. Please, again, check out Javier Hernandez's Kickstarter of El Muerto, La Casa del Diablo. Links will be provided. Thank you so much, everyone. If you guys like what you see, go ahead and share, and then stay tuned. Thank you so much.